Hello and welcome back to another lesson with Once Upon English. I'm so glad you're here because today's session is going to be both fun and very helpful. I've prepared something a little different, something that will not only improve your English listening skills, but also help you speak English more naturally and confidently. This lesson focuses on a powerful technique called shadowing. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly is shadowing? Simply put, shadowing is when you carefully listen to a native English speaker, in this case, me, and then immediately repeat what I say, word for word, just like an echo. You don't just repeat the words, though. You try to copy the way I pronounce them, how I stress certain syllables, the rhythm of my speech, and even the rise and fall of my voice, known as intonation. Why is shadowing so useful? Because it trains your ears and mouth at the same time. You get to practice how English sounds and how to make those sounds yourself. This helps you develop a more natural-sounding accent and improves both your fluency and comprehension, all in one activity. Now, here's how to get the most out of this video. First, simply listen to the story I'll tell you. Try to focus on the overall meaning and how the words sound. Then, watch the video again, but this time, after each sentence, pause the video and repeat the sentence out loud. Try to copy my voice as closely as possible. Don't worry about being perfect. Just aim to get better each time. You can do this exercise 2 or 3 times, or as many times as you like. With each round, it will become a little easier and more natural. And here's some good news, you don't have to guess what I'm saying. All of the words will appear on your screen while I speak, so you can read along and clearly understand every part of the story. Are you ready to begin? Let's start this journey together, and by the end of it, you'll not only understand English better, but you'll sound better speaking it too. Today, I'll share a funny and interesting story about my trip to Tokyo, Japan. I arrived in Tokyo last month for a short vacation. It was my first time in Japan, and I was beyond excited. Everything felt new and magical from the moment I got off the train. The streets were so clean, the people were so polite. And the vending machines. They had everything from hot coffee to ice cream, even ramen. I walked around the city with my camera, snapping photos like a happy tourist. There were cherry blossoms, colorful signs, anime stores, and the soft sound of Japanese pop music playing in the background. I had practiced a few phrases like konnichiwa, hello, arigato, thank you, and aigo o hanasemasu ka? Do you speak English? But most of the time, I used English. On my second day, I decided to be brave. I wanted to try real Japanese food, something I couldn't find at home. I walked around and found a small restaurant tucked between a bookstore and a flower shop. It looked quiet, cozy, and very local. No big signs, just a wooden door, a red paper lantern, and the smell of grilled fish and soy sauce in the air. Inside, there were only a few tables. A couple sat quietly slurping noodles, and one man at the counter was eating with chopsticks like a pro, so fast I couldn't even follow his hands. I sat down and smiled at the waiter. "One, please," I said. He nodded and handed me a menu. The menu had pictures and English translations, which helped. But some dishes still looked mysterious. Then one dish caught my eye. Natto, traditional fermented soybeans. Very healthy. There was even a cartoon bean next to it with a smiley face, waving like it was inviting me in. I thought, fermented soybeans? I've never had that before. And then, of course, my adventurous brain kicked in. Try it, Emily. Be bold. You're in Japan. So I pointed at the dish and said, "I'll try this, please." The waiter smiled widely. "Very good choice," he said proudly. I felt like a champion of international food. I even texted my friend. "Guess what? I'm trying natto. I'm a local now." Soon the food arrived. It came in a small bowl with chopped green onions and a raw egg on top. I looked at it and paused. It was shiny, stringy, sticky, slimy. And the smell. Let's just say the cartoon bean lied to me. It smelled like cheese, old socks, and a science experiment all at once. But I was determined. I picked up my chopsticks, still learning how to hold them properly, and took a big bite. And, oh no, immediate regret. The texture was like eating warm glue mixed with melted rubber bands. The flavor? bitter, salty, sour, and slightly nutty. My brain said, alert, alert. My face said, nice. I honestly didn't know whether to chew or cry. Just then, the waiter came over and asked, "Do you like it?" My soul left my body. I froze, then smiled politely and said, "It's very unique." He laughed out loud. Yes, natto is special. Not everyone likes it. I quickly grabbed my water and took a long sip. I felt like I had climbed Mount Soybean and barely survived. But I didn't want to be rude. So I kept eating. One tiny bite at a time. My jaw was moving, but my heart wasn't in it. Later, I called my friend and told her the whole story. We laughed so hard I almost cried. I said, "I think natto is what happens when soybeans go through an identity crisis." And now I always say, be careful what you order when you can't pronounce it. Oh, and the next morning, I saw natto again on the hotel breakfast buffet. It sat there, smiling at me like we had unfinished business. I looked at it and said, "Not today, my friend. Not today." By the way, did you know that natto has been eaten in Japan for over 1,000 years? It's considered a superfood, full of protein and vitamins. A lot of Japanese kids grow up eating it, kind of like how kids in the US grow up eating peanut butter. So for some people, natto is comfort food. For me, it's a story I'll never forget. What did I learn? Sometimes trying new things is challenging. But it's also fun. It makes you laugh. And it creates the best memories. Even the awkward, sticky, smelly ones. Vocabulary for travel and food. Menu, the list of food options in a restaurant. Waiter, the person who brings you food. Fermented food is changed by healthy bacteria over time. Chopsticks, the eating tools used in many Asian countries. Adventurous, willing to try new things. Helpful phrases from today's story. Do you like it? Ask this when someone tries something new. It's very unique. A polite way to say something isn't your favorite. Be careful what you order. A fun way to advise a surprise experience. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Do you like it? It's very unique. Be careful what you order. I'll try this, please. Fermented soybeans. Thank you. Great job. Thanks so much for practicing English with me today. I hope you laughed, learned, and maybe felt a little braver about trying new things. Remember, you can watch this video as many times as you like. The more you practice, the more confident your English will sound. If you liked this story, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more fun and useful lessons. And most importantly, mistakes, surprises, and strange flavors are all part of the adventure. So don't be afraid to try, laugh, and learn. See you in the next video. And as always, happy learning!